My name is Eric Stuart. I'm a crowd safety manager from the United Kingdom. I'm involved in planning crowds for major events, festivals, music concerts, but also involved in investigating when incidents go wrong and supporting the investigation team if people get hurt at incidents. We have a real challenge at the moment in relation to the type of attacks that are taking place by terrorists across Europe, both in mainland Europe and in the UK as well. We've become a lot better in recent years in trying to prevent some sort of terrorist attacks, certainly the type where people try to get weapons or explosives into venues, but we will always have a vulnerability on the streets. If you go to London or if you go to Germany, you'll find some places have big metal barricades, and that stops people driving vehicles onto pavements. But then go to other places. The busiest shopping street in London is Oxford Street, and there are no physical barriers to separate crowds from the vehicles. And that will always be an almost impossible challenge. We can't put concrete or metal between every vehicle and every crowd that's ever going to exist. And even if we did, the terrorists would then adapt, as they have, and single planned events, one person not telling anybody else what they're doing, with a knife in their pocket, can attack anybody. And we've had that in Reading in the UK on a Sunday afternoon in a park, people just enjoying the day, and someone walked into that park and stabbed and killed 3 people. And personally, whilst we have new legislation coming into the UK to try to prevent those attacks, they will never ever be able to stop those sort of attacks. What we have to try to do is to be able to respond very quickly and know how to treat the people that have been injured in those circumstances. But in terms of prevention, there's very little we can do about that. So one of the problems is, it's quite often the question that's posed is, what can event organisers do to prevent this level of violence? And I think that's the wrong question in some ways. The question is, what can we all do? Both the public, the event organisers, but the public authorities as well, the police, the city authorities, council officials, all of those agencies. There's no one organisation can stop this. We all have to work together. And sometimes, in some places in the UK, that's very good. The agencies and partners all work together. And when we plan in events, we have a group of emergency services, city authorities and event organisers who come together, and we meet and we talk about the safety aspects. We call it a safety advisory group. And that has been quite well developed in the UK for many years, 30 or more years now. Although there are places where, because it's expensive and it's time consuming, and the city authorities that normally run those events are having their budgets cut, we're actually going backwards. So we are in danger in the UK of having less efficient multi-agency working, but that's the way to prevent it. I can have very elaborate security plans, but my security guards and my stewards have got no authority and no power out on the streets. They're not allowed to intervene in certain situations. Only the police can do that. So if the police walk away and say it's nothing to do with us, and we say, well, we're just going to stay inside, that zone X area outside becomes the most vulnerable area. So that's where we need to focus. But we've got to do it as a team, a multi-agency group. People have to understand that human beings want to have fun. We want to go and enjoy ourselves, and we need to make these events affordable and as safe as reasonably practicable. But we also have to accept it will never be 100% safe. We can't have 100% safety at the events that we do. If that's your expectation, stop doing events or stop going to events. In terms of what we would call multi-agency agreements, we quite often have documents signed in the UK, statements of intent, statements of purpose, what our expectations will be of the other agencies in the event of something happening, something going wrong. And we try and pull those groups together using what we call the safety advisory group system. And when that works well, it's very, very good. But there are parts of the country that don't have it. We just need to improve that system and make sure that all the agencies and all the partners, as well as the event organisers and the security and the medical and fire, all know that it's their job to keep people safe. I think if I was to say anything to members of the public who go to events, and I am a member of the public who goes to events, I think if they could just make sure they pay a little bit of attention, have some situational awareness, accept that we live in sometimes dangerous times, go and have fun and enjoy it, but be aware of what's going on around you. But the onus also sits on our staff. Our staff have to be friendly, they have to be approachable, they have to be smiling, and they've got to give people confidence in speaking to them. So if a member of the public sees a bag that's been left unattended and they see a security guard, they should feel confident that if they go and speak to that security guard, they will do something about it and not just ignore it.